Some behaviors are a cycle that we are never going to escape. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 addictive behaviors only gamers will understand. Number 10, opening every door and checking out every single hallway for loot. Like, let's go ahead and say, Knights of the Old Republic, this is on you, but let me tell you exactly where this got me the worst. Dead Space. Once I played Dead Space, I've never played another game similarly again. It's all just like constant searching, opening boxes, opening doors, opening rooms, walking down hallways, getting attacked by an enemy that was hiding in the shadows. It's okay. I don't care. There's a possibility of having literally just anything. It doesn't, like, maybe some health. In fact, that would be the most ideal thing to find because health makes the game feel less terrifying, honestly. There are times that game stressed me out so much. The new Resident Evil remake. Don't tell me you're not looking through hallways and opening every door. I know you are. I am. At this point, I don't even know if it has anything to do with the game. It's just something I do. Although, please call help if you see me like walking through real life that way. Ever. Number 9, breaking everything in sight. I'm gonna mention one game, and then I'm gonna mention the main one. You know, like, if you played the new God of War, you're like me, you've smashed every single poor, unsuspecting barrel, no consideration, it's a barrel, there's probably something in it, and I want that. Don't care what it is, I'm not missing even a little bit of hack silver, so sorry, barrels. And God of War is child's play compared to Legend of Zelda. I know you can break less things in Legend of Zelda, but Link is the king of just going into people's houses and breaking their stuff. And it's not as if it's not pathological either. He's looking for hearts, he's looking for rupees, he's looking for bombs or arrows, anything a person who lives in a house and owns some pottery might store, because pottery is used for storage in Hyrule. And he's just like, A, you bought this pot and it might have stuff in it, so I'm destroying it. B, that stuff that you put in it is mine now. Number 8, continually pressing a button during non-skippable dialogue. No, this doesn't do anything. We know it doesn't do anything. Dialogue that allows us to skip the dialogue would do something because the button would skip the dialogue, but that is not part of this. It is flat out just doing something that you know will have no effect. In some respects, it's simply pressing a button so that there's definitely an input the second you're allowed to skip the scene, but it never comes. Hence, the dialogue being non-skippable. That's what non-skippable means. There will not be an opportunity to skip. And yet A, circle, spacebar, whatever, repeat, 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 but they still keep talking. Number 7, constantly checking ammo and reloading all the time. So if you're anything like me, you're pretty much always looking down at your ammo. In games that show how much is in the clip versus how much you have in total, more or less as a fraction, and the clip number changes color to, let's say, red, this is essentially encouraged. A, it might be necessary for the game to keep close eyes on your inventory, but B, they know a certain kind of person is not going to take their eyes off of that stuff, and it is going to keep them involved in the game more. I am that certain type of person. I need to know how much ammo I have, and if that number is red, I'm gonna have to reload because I can't handle that. In fact, if that number is lower than the full amount that that clip holds, I'm probably gonna have to reload it. Because ammo in games does not work like ammo in real life. I don't carry around like a pouch of bullets and constantly refill a clip in real life. I don't really carry a gun in real life, or like defuse terrorist situations in real life, now that I think about it. But that's besides the point. Oh boy, that number is lower than the max. Better press reload. Number 6, pressing buttons hard, getting the feeling that it will inflict higher damage. Now, I think this is an obvious one as to why we do it. In real life, if one is attempting to do something that needs an impact, the harder one tries to do that impact, the more force one puts behind it, the more of an impact that will have. correct? I think yes. I think that no one's gonna argue with that. So, when we translate that into holding a video game controller, it is an instinct to press the button as hard as we can in situations where we wish for more damage to occur. However, while there are some controllers that are pressure sensitive and some games that utilize those controllers, it's not really that many, relatively speaking, and it's just kind of us doing a thing that we're kind of hardwired to do as opposed to a thing that will actually do anything. But yeah. Number 5, bunny hopping. Doesn't matter if it's a game where bunny hopping matters, you do it, right? You know you do it. You bunny hop. Maybe not all the time, maybe just some of the time, but hey, it worked in that one game, so it can't possibly not work here, right? At least in some respect. Even if you notice that it definitely doesn't work, you're still bunny hopping. Whether it's bunny hopping or holding a run button that you don't need to, or there isn't a run button and you hold a button because you're used to it in another game. Doesn't matter if there's a running mechanic or not. Doesn't matter if it does anything. You're just addicted. You'll go faster in your own mind. Number 4, weirdly testing boundaries that you know the answer to for the most part based on the game. And even if you don't, why? Like walking into a fire to see if it hurts you. 9 out of 10 games it is gonna hurt you. There's gonna be the odd game where it doesn't, but at this point I think that's pretty like an obvious one, and yet we're still like, better make sure. We're jumping into water to see if you can drown. Do you drown immediately? Do you have to go underwater and run out of air? Like, what's the deal here? And then there's finding a cliff, nice high place to jump off of, maybe a building, I don't know. I'm jumping off. Is it possible to survive? Are you gonna die? This is stuff you can do in a video game you can't do in real life. Well, I mean, you can, but I would hope you wouldn't. Although I also hope you wouldn't have to walk into a fire to see if it hurts. Like, I mean, if it's obvious in a video game, it's way more obvious in real life. But these are things we all do, even though they're totally unnecessary. Just gotta test those boundaries, test those limits, see what's up. Number 3, tilting your head while turning in racing games to turn sharper. Like, you've driven in a place where you needed to take a sharp turn, and just to maintain balance, you have to lean. Race car drivers tend to lean even if it may not actually affect the physics of their driving, but it's a natural thing as far as driving a car around, to try to stay upright or in some cases lean out of the centrifugal force. If you turn left, the car is going to tilt right because that's how physics work. Keep your head upright, keep your balance, feel better. It doesn't work that way when you're playing a racing game, and yet we still do the lean. Our body is not experiencing any of those physical forces, and yet still do the lean. Why? Well, it's weird to think about being addicted to something that doesn't really give you satisfaction, but does it actually not give you satisfaction? It feels like you're part of it, and therefore you probably are a little more satisfied with a game that is trying to make you feel like you're part of it. This isn't exclusive to racing games either, though. Let's say you're playing an FPS and you're sneaking around a corner or peeking through an open door. Do you not lean as if it might actually have some bearing over what you can see, even though it definitely doesn't? I mean, unless you've got a VR headset on. Interesting, isn't it? Number 2, blowing up things. And do not tell me you are not addicted to blowing up things. In Grand Theft Auto, you drive around and you see stuff like, is that destructible? Because that is infinitely the question. Like, Crackdown 3 is something I've talked about a lot through the years on this channel, the fact that it is seeing the light of day. After all that work, after what seems like probably a lot of waiting for something that can't happen, I know nobody is going to be particularly angry if it actually delivers on the things that it claims it will, because everybody wants this. Everybody wants to spend at least a little bit of time blowing up stuff, knocking stuff down. If the mechanic is possible, I don't see stuff in a game as something not to knock over. Like, that's stuff that I don't want to do in real life, but I do want to see. And a video game is kind of the ability to see anything like that, as long as it has the capability of doing it. When you know nobody can get hurt from it, it's awesome. And finally, number 1, covering all terrain. Let's say you find a little shortcut that lets you go right on past some area that you would have had to have trudged through, grind through, whatever, and you feel like you missed out. This is something that is a little bit different than the fear of missing out. This is, I have left something in the back mirror that I have missed out on. Fortunately, in games, you can do whatever you want. You could go back if you want, and that's what I'm talking about. Going back just because you didn't see it, not because you needed to, because you figured out how to get past it without going there. This happened to me, again, to bring up Dead Space, in Dead Space. That game is all about mood, and when I figured out how to get past somewhere, I don't remember exactly where, but there's a few shortcuts in that game, if I remember right. And the thing is that game is a fun house. It's designed to be gone through as a singular experience. What are some things you do in video games just because you're absolutely addicted to those things? They don't have to be things that make any sense. Just leave us a comment, tell us what you're thinking about, and if you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. So click subscribe, and do not forget to click the notification bell. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at FalconHero. We'll see you next time, right here on gameranx.